Okay, everybody, we are back for episode 3 of Camp Time is Real Time. Today, you will find that I forgot to introduce the guest again, so I'm going to do it in the intro again. Guys, I don't think I'm going to break this habit. I'm going to be honest with you. Today, I'm talking to Kat, who is a camper of mine when she was in Navajo. So there is a lot of Navajo talk in this pod, but I think you will enjoy it even if you weren't a Navajo. Because if you're listening, frankly, you know FCDC, so you just want to hear. So it's a good one. The other thing I wanted to tell you is I created an email address just for this podcast. It's camptimefcdc@gmail.com. And that is a great way to get in touch with me because I want to hear from you. I want to hear what you like about the pod. I want you to come on the pod, especially if you're my friend from Germany, and tell me what you like. Just keep it at, what you like. But yeah, if you want to come on and share some stories, that would be awesome. The other thing is, all you need is a Zoom link to do it. I know this sounds very fancy. I get it, but it's not. It's as simple as just joining the Zoom call. So, Camp Time FCDC, shoot me an email. And until then, enjoy the conversation with Kat, and we'll see you next time. So, did you know that they changed tribes to troops?
No.
Okay. I see you haven't listened to the first pod.
Are they like troop numbers? Like, did they like? Are
No.
they?
So they call them troops, but they're like Aiden was in the pups. It's like tadpoles, pups.
Oh, it's like
foxes,
totally different.
Totally different.
Okay.
And the way I found out was Ty sent. I texted Ty because I needed to drop off Aiden's EpiPen and stuff like before. And so he just texted me a screenshot.
Was Ty his head counselor?
No, but
okay.
But like he was his favorite counselor, off the bat. It like helps that he had been knew Ty a little bit. Like, it's very cool. But no, his head counselor was this girl Lauren, who was new, or I didn't know.
It's so weird to not know anyone there.
so weird. Like, I'll come back to that. But so he sent me a screenshot of like the daily schedule, and I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, oh, neat. Like it looks like what Tom used to do. And then I looked at it and I was like, I was like, what is this? And I'm like, is this a joke? Like, what has happened? And of course, it's not a big deal, but I was like, I can't believe they changed it. So I guess they changed them this year. And the first day, Aiden went for the second 2 sessions. The first day, I like didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, so
do they still have like the posts?
Yeah, they relabeled everything, and it's all these new just like animal tribe names, and and they're calling them troops. But I was like, what have you? But so that's fine. Aiden was a pup, and but I find myself asking him all the time. I'm like, okay, what are the 2 groups older than you? Because I can't. I'm like, I have
no. Like, how do you?
Yeah, I have no frame of reference. But it's so weird, to your point, going back and not knowing anyone.
Yeah.
And it was a strange spot. So I'll tell you, for starters, it is a strange, totally different perspective being a parent at camp. And it's I mean, obviously, like, how would we know this? But it just totally different perspective. And yeah, I know. I mean, luckily there are a lot of people who just haven't left. So it's like Ty, Scott Howe, Kelly.
Scott Howe is there.
Scott Howe is there. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I guess he did it.
In
like
what?
Woodlore.
Okay.
Kelly, Sam, someone else. I know I'm missing someone. Oh, Billy, of course.
Yeah.
And then, but so there's like a little contingent that I recognize, and I'm like, okay, cool. But it's weird. So I like drop him off, and I'm like, try to do my whole thing. And then it kind of becomes clear that like that I am someone that these people know. So like Sam and Billy and stuff. So I almost am like trying to overcompensate in the other direction to his counselor, Lauren, be like, I'm like, oh, here you go. Like I'm not pretending to know any more than you. Like you're good. And it just, but then meanwhile, at the end of the day, I pick him up. And then there was one day, and it was amazing, that Tom was filling in for Sam. He had to go somewhere. So I was like, oh my God. So I was talking to Tom. And then like Bill Danner walked up, and then like Susie Crest, like all of like my counselors.
Yeah.
And it was like, we just had this big powwow. And I was like, I don't know. It was amazing for me. I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm 14.
Right. Yeah.
And I just like, I feel like all of these counselors that I don't know are like, who's this? Like who's Aiden's mom like talking to? It's very, very strange.
Yeah.
But one day I went in, Aiden had like forgotten to bring his water bottle or something. It was an excuse for me to go into camp. Yeah. And I dropped off.
There's no water.
No water at camp. Couldn't have made it possibly. I dropped off like 24 donuts, and I was like, I was like, look, just like, I'm cool. I get it. So, very different, but so cool.
Well, no, it's interesting because you sent me that text to be like, think about like what you want to talk about. And I started thinking about it, and like how many different aspects of my life are the way they are because of camp.
Yeah. Like what?
It's wild. Like I just, like I joined swim team because like someone during swim lessons was like, oh, you're kind of good at this. Have you ever thought about doing swim team?
That's right.
And then like, oh, what was the other thing? I don't know. I just feel like it just like infiltrates like every aspect of my life.
Did you ever get to the point, I don't know if this happened to you, where you were like, it like during college, like making probably not great career decisions because you're like, well, I do need those 6 weeks off. It definitely seemed to infiltrate that.
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing was that so the reason I stopped going to camp was because I had to get hip surgery.
Oh, that's right.
And I couldn't be at camp on crutches. I mean, I was pretty laid up that summer.
Yeah.
Which was just kind of a weird, like I feel like I never had to like choose to leave camp. Mm-hmm. Like it was more like you're defective.
So that summer you were like laid up.
Yeah.
Did it ever cross your mind to go back?
Well, I think yes, it did. Mm-hmm. But then I think I was like, well, I better do the thing to get into medical school.
You made the right decision. Look at you. Yeah. You didn't put off the career. Good for you.
But no, I mean, like, I feel like every summer, even during medical school, I was like, oh, I could have been at camp right now.
I mean, I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
But so when you were gone though, you still had your sister was there.
Yeah.
So you were kind of plugged into camp. So
yeah, my sister was there, and then Alana and Amanda were there for a few years. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so there are a few years where I was like, I still knew people.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I think it was maybe 2 years ago that like everyone from my year was like finally gone.
Yeah. Oh, like, yeah. Yeah. Alana's gone now, right?
Yeah. I think she's been, this was like her second or third year.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. So you all, that whole group, you and Alana and all those guys, Jen, and like that whole Navajo tribe.
Yes.
The best, man. That was the best. So that was when I was on the pool, and so me, Carly, and Danielle.
Oh my God, Carly, who's also a doctor.
Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was, it's a Navajo thing. and then we had you guys, and that was awesome. Those were like It was so fun. But I was thinking about just in general, because it was this like core group of campers. Like every age
Yeah.
group kind of has it, the like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, the like 3 or 4, like 6
Yeah.
speakers or whatever. And it was like, oh, it just turned out you guys were all like awesome people. And then you also get, you know, with every group, you'll get like 1 or 2 like brand new to camp people, which,
Mhm.
you know, doesn't happen as frequently. And I was thinking about one camper we had brand new to camp, Marielle. And
Marielle.
yeah, correct. And how she was, you know, like whatever. We're part of, as my mom likes to say, it's a cult. But like, you know, we've all been going to camp for so long, forever. And we all kind of know like the rhythms of everything. And
Mhm.
then you get someone who's brand new. So Marielle she's fine. She's a fine 10-year-old, just a little out there. I remember she had some wacky ideas, but just like silly things would come out of her mind.
Yeah.
And so it was fine. She was there for like 2 weeks, but the best part about it is like showed no interest really in like getting on stage, being a big part of anything. And so at the last cookout, she came up to us and was like, no, she didn't even tell us, but we got back from the cookout to the sing at the theater, and they're like killing time before the show starts. And Tom's like, who wants to come up? And Marielle's like, me, obviously. And we're like, all right. She gets up there.
I approve.
Yeah. We're like, all right, go for it. She gets up there, she grabs the mic, and she's like, my name's Marielle, the song. And we're like, all right, cool. She's like, almost heaven. And she starts singing Country Roads. Remember this?
Remember that?
Yeah. But the whole song, she sings the whole thing through. People know the chorus, everybody's singing and getting into it. And then that was it. It was the strangest, most amazing thing. And then it was like poof, and I never heard from her again.
I have the most distinct memory of like her at tribe time, like going like this and just running full force into you.
Oh, you're right. And
Yeah.
for the people at home, that would be 2 like L's as horns.
Like horns.
Yeah. And then just a straight up headbutt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like she didn't even she made the horns, then she scraped her foot against the ground
Oh,
in like
yeah.
preparation, and then just ran full force into you.
Well, looking
But
back,
that was it. Then she just like walked away.
that was it. She just
Yeah.
disappeared into the ether. But looking back, she said, I think she did come the next year, and she had been like at theater camp and everything. And I think that makes sense, because I think she was probably like, what is this place? Like, what is it we're doing? This is not for me, but I don't approve of tribe time, which I don't know. Do you remember all the scavenger hunts we used to do?
I cannot, like, to this day, cannot look at a Starburst without thinking about you. To this day, someone will be like, "Oh, randomly Starburst," and I'm like, trivia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the trivia. I mean, it was so we do Naviscav Tuesdays, as I recall.
Yes.
Which was just a way to get the tribe.
Which got scavenger hunts banned at camp.
Did it really?
Not banned, but they were like, we definitely, after like one of those years, they were like, you're gonna have to limit the scavenger.
No way. Oh no. Because we would just scatter our kids throughout the whole
right. You would have us like counting like the number of trees.
Blades of grass, as I recall, was one. Really? Put the kibosh.
They were like, or I think there were rules that there had to be like actual answers to the
question. I know. Well, that was the great thing about it. So it was basically write as many questions as you could, because we have 45 minutes to fill. And then if you came back early, it was like, oh, this is wrong. Or like, I'm not going to tell you which one is wrong, but you better go. You better go. Yeah.
One of these is wrong.
Oh, whoops. Sorry for that.
No, that was hilarious.
Yeah. I
definitely remember by like, I think it was like week 5 or 6. It was like me, Jen, and Alana were like, we're just going to walk around.
Yeah. Right. Well, that was the thing. I think like Carly, Danielle, and I were always like, come on, guys, like understand, like just go do your own thing and come back at the end of the day, and everyone's happy. Who says no to that?
And then I think every day during trivia, you would ask us where Danielle went to college.
Yeah.
And every day for 6 weeks, we never knew.
Yeah.
I, to this day, couldn't tell you where she went to college.
Like,
it started with a Q.
Yeah. Quinnipiac. It's a bridge too far. Yeah. Yeah. I do remember that. It was always that. I think because it's a pretty difficult word to say.
No, yeah.
But didn't stop us from handing out Starbursts, that's for sure.
No, yeah, love Starbursts.
Were you there also, like much the same as the scavenger hunts when dodgeball was banned?
I was there when dodgeball was banned.
What was that?
I was less broken up about that because I was never really into dodgeball.
Right, yeah.
During game time, right? They like banned.
I hear they made it so it was only on like Wednesday or something.
You can only play dodgeball like once a week.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it was too many strings of dodgeball with like small children just getting like bombarded and then not being able to participate because like half them they would just have to sit out because they'd get kicked out of dodgeball every.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and then I could also see them being like a little variety would be nice.
Yeah. No, I definitely have I have a lot of video memories. There was that time I chugged like that like half a gallon of water.
That's right. For the counselor video.
The
premise being,
I didn't know what the premise was.
The premise was we're going to chug these gallons of water. The end.
Yeah.
And then we did it. As I recall, I think you threw up. Did you not?
Oh, almost immediately.
Yeah. That was for the counselor video.
Yeah.
I don't know. But we were like, yeah, this is going to kill.
It gave me a lot of confidence at parties at college. And
I
was
really?
like, I can chug anything.
Yeah.
I don't drink alcohol, but I could chug anything.
It's true. Well, quite honestly, so there was that. But if you think about at camp in general, the amount of drinking games that, so I seem to recall Flip Cup. Juice Pong. Yep. I remember Kelly telling me like way early on that most of the counselor competitions like that they started with were like forms of like, they're like drinking games or like just college stuff.
Yeah.
And they're just like, we'll do this. That was great. But like, it's like, with like Juice Pong and Flip Cup, it was always under like, hey, it's a super hot day. Like we got to stay hydrated. And all the kids are like, yeah.
Like, and the best way to stay hydrated is with some bright green beverage.
That's right. Exactly. As you know. Exactly. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. But that's like, that's what made it so cool though. Cause it was like, I like to like think that in 10 years or whatever, when the kids are at parties, they're like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Like, hold on. I did this at camp when I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
So, what you were a head counselor at before you left, right?
Yeah.
What tribe did you have?
I had the Chippewas.
Oh,
with, Sam Walpert.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. What did we do?
What did you guys do?
We definitely did scavenger hunts.
You have to on the DL. Yeah.
So our lunch tables were like over behind the office.
Mm-hmm.
And we like kind of there were two over there.
The nurse's office or the
behind the nurse's office.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So we definitely had quite a few days where we just sent them to games.
Nice. So smart. Yep.
Oh man, what else did we do?
Did you guys
I
ever
think,
go blueberry picking? Go out to the
I
power
think we
lines?
went blueberry picking like once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, um,
Or
yeah, I feel
boat.
like we went on some like forest adventures. Um,
It's like you look back on it now and it would have been so easy just to be like, oh, let's like go for a walk down the paths in the woods. Or
yeah.
like and for me anyway, and I think what I'm finding out is I was just a terrible counselor, is I was like, well, I'm so tired.
Yeah. Oh my God, you are.
Yeah.
It's such they're like it's crazy how you're like I'm having so much fun, but I'm exhausted.
I'm so tired.
Especially like I guess I can't compare. I only ever worked at the pool.
Mhm.
Like Tom called me when I was in 8th grade and was like, "Do you want to be a lifeguard?"
Amazing. You're like, well, I am on the swim team now. So
No, I guess I was a freshman in high school, and he was like, "Yeah," and
Yeah.
I was like, "Of course I want to be a lifeguard."
Right.
But like we had just like sitting in the sun all day and like teaching kids how to do butterfly.
Yep. Yeah. Drains you.
and then trying to get kids to understand what breach was. Do you remember doing that? I'd be like, no, you just need to line across the pool and then you dive in,
Oh my
and
God.
it's cool.
Oh my gosh. I do remember this.
Yeah, no, we played a lot of whatever those like murder games were at tribe time.
You'd like sit in a circle and like one person would be out, right?
Yeah.
Right?
They apparently make like card games basically of this now.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You have to like figure out who like the bad guy is.
Huh.
And I'm like, but you don't need a card game to play it.
No.
You can sit in a circle.
No.
Or we would play what was the still game?
Oh, graveyard.
Graveyard?
Yeah. Don't move.
Don't move.
Don't move.
Don't pretend to watch.
Exactly. And then like if you move, you're like, guys, come on. Like you're ruining the integrity of the game. Yeah. But yeah, by the end of the day, you're so tired.
Yeah.
And it's just like I look back now, I'm like, we could have gone, like we could have been all over the woods. Like we would go do, I think we went boating a few times because I always
Oh yeah, we did go boating a few times.
I love boating. It's like the best. But like all the stuff we could have taken advantage of, that I was like, nah, I'm too tired. I'm too tired. We're not having any fun.
But it's so interesting though, because like that's not how I interpreted it at all.
Yeah. What was your perspective as a camper?
I mean, like we had a blast. We had so much fun. And I mean, I feel like I had this, I don't know. I think I had like a different perspective on all of it. Cause like the whole time my mom was there and like, I feel like I knew like everyone more than everyone else.
Well, you did.
Right. Yeah.
You had like, from my camper's perspective, you were like living the dream.
I was thinking about how I still have I have one of the papers because Tom gave those quotes out every week. And he always started the year off with the like enthusiasm is the electricity of life, which is on my refrigerator. And then he hands out the happy camper one about how you're always being watched.
Yep.
And I was thinking back about how I don't think you even know this. I listed you when I in my yearbook as like one of the people who influenced me the most.
Really?
Because like I think about how many things like I do because like you were like, oh, this is how we do them. like to this day, I don't I almost never like abbreviate in text messages because at one point you're like, no, you use proper English.
It's a hard line I drew.
And I never like I type out every single word.
Yeah. You never know when Sarah's gonna spot check.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Or like, oh, what was the other thing that I was like, I don't do this because Sarah Fannin said. I forget what it was. I was thinking about it the other day, but like,
So that is super humbling to hear. But I did the exact same thing with like the counselors that I had when I was a camper. Like you pick up on like one thing that probably doesn't mean anything really to them. They like said in passing
yeah.
or whatever. And you're like, no, this is my thing. Like and I do feel strongly about the abbreviation. So I'm happy to hear that you're
Yeah.
doing that still. But it's true. Cause like counselors are just, I don't know. It's like, Ty and I talked about it a little bit. It's like, they're not your parents.
Right.
They're like an older sibling, like a much older sibling, I guess, or
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's just like, I don't know, the things that I pick up on, and even now, like if I see a counselor, like when I saw the counselors when I was a camper there, and I'm 40 years old, I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you just like it's true.
Oh, wait. I remember the other thing that totally changed the course of my life about camp.
Oh, do it.
Do you remember Greg Colbert?
Of course I do. Yeah, he knew
Who
my make
sang
and model of my
the
car. Yeah,
the shit? Yeah. The shit
yeah,
is bananas.
yeah.
Greg Colbert. So Greg Colbert also went to UMass.
Okay.
Um, and my senior year of college, I was moving in with Caroline, and she was taking accounting with Greg Colbert,
Okay.
who needed a roommate. And we didn't even know each other other than we had gone to camp together, and we hadn't talked in a decade, even though we went to the same high school.
Oh.
And Greg Colbert lived with me my senior year of college.
Oh my
It
gosh.
is now one of my best friends.
No way. No
And
kidding.
that definitely wouldn't happen if we hadn't like all been at camp.
So this year they added an Instagram account to FCDC. You
I
follow?
followed it before I deleted my Instagram.
Yeah. Oh, good for you.
Mental health.
It's what a
But no, I
world
saw
we're
the
in.
camp Instagram. It was very cool.
So the camp Instagram is like social media used for like the best possible.
Right.
Like it's like that. This was the like idealized social media.
Yeah.
And so obviously like check it every day and be like, where's the content? But there was one when they had Olympic Day, and it was a story of them lighting the torch. So like we had a bunch of Olympic days, like we were there, and it was, it all kind of the same thing. So anyway, the whole camp was sitting like in front of the boathouse kind of, but like facing up. And then it looks like all of the head counselors were scattered, like beginning there all the way down like toward archery, and they'd run like 20 feet in slow mo to like Chariots of Fire was going. And it culminated in actually up the hill, the torch was passed to Billy, who slid down a waterfall to light like the pit. It was amazing. It was like perfect. But all the while, the whole camp is just chanting, light it, light it, light it. And it was like less the like ordeal of them like running around camp and more of like, that's exactly what we would do. We would be sitting there chanting like the whole camp, chanting whatever, like it didn't matter, something. And Aiden, I noticed it in him like all the time after he started going to camp, like he'd just start chanting stuff. And I was like, oh, this is a thing. Like we'd chant anything, like it's sing, like it didn't matter. It's just like, it always turned into a chant.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh no, the number of times that I feel like there was like one year where like every day someone was chanting USA.
Yes.
Like every day.
Every day. Well, it was probably the summer of 2002 would be my guess. Like right after 9/11. Yeah, we had a lot of USA chants.
Yeah.
But I even remember like waiting for lunch at the table.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And it'd just be like, we want lunch. It's like screaming at the CIT, whoever that was.
It's like running, like
yeah. And it just like it's just one of the cool things to see that like nothing has changed. What was your go-to cookout menu?
Oh.
Or did you take the approach that Katie and I were talking about last week? Is just how much money can we make
Yeah.
on this week?
Um,
How much iced coffee can I put into my
um,
games?
yeah. I do remember making mac and cheese with you one year and like
Yes.
breaking the spoon.
Yes,
Um,
I 100% remember that. Yep.
yeah.
Whoops.
We did, I feel like we did a lot of mac and cheese,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of chicken nuggets. We never
Oh.
did English muffin pizzas as much as I thought we were going to.
Mm.
Um, but I do, oh my God, I used to love going to Market Basket with Sam on like Thursdays. It's
Mm-hmm.
so fun.
Yep. Was it you and him and like a bunch of other people too? Or
Yeah, like everyone else would be there, but like
Mhm.
Sam and I would always drive together.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And yeah, you would see like everyone there.
Yeah.
um,
And like the Market Basket staff is like, what is happening?
yeah, and they're like, we'd be like, here is 65 $1 bills.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that bunch of quarters.
Yeah.
Well, like similar to like knowing how to like row a boat, right? Like paddle a
Yeah.
canoe or like shoot a bow and arrow. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of people who just never had the opportunity or
Yeah.
whatever. It's a cool skill that you have to learn somewhere. And it's a cool thing to know.
But it's just crazy. I'm like, I know how to shoot bows and arrows.
Yeah, of course.
When I was 12,
Yeah,
it was like this big.
of
Whereas like
course.
my roommate's brother like shot a deer with a bow and arrow 2 weeks ago. And I was like, but I know how to do that too.
Right. I could do that. First you put your wrist guard on
Yeah.
and then you aim for the deer for the back. Correct? No. Okay.
First you put your wrist guard
All
on.
right. Yeah, safety first. But like anytime like to your point about like orientation or like team building stuff when they like roll out like adventure stuff basically like
Yeah.
trust falls and stuff, it would always take me back. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, I know how to do this, which I think is the antithesis of team building, but
Right.
um but I'd be like, I know how to do this. And then it would just kind of take me back and be like, oh, camp. Like,
Right. Yeah.
and you kind of like the value in it just kind of like comes at different moments when you're like, oh,
Mhm.
wow, I like fully realize what it's all about. Like,
Yeah.
I would love to like hear from Gail, and I'm sure people know it, but like talk to Gail and be like, all right, when you set this place up, like holy crap, but like
Yeah.
why? What did you hope to get out of it? And I know
Yeah.
you
And like
did.
what did you think it was gonna become?
Yeah. Like we were talking with Ty, and when I was talking to Ty, I was like, she set up this camp and had like the foresight to be like, video is something like that we're gonna need. And
Yeah.
it's like it seems like ahead of its time. And I don't know. I would love I'm sure people know the answer, and she's probably given the answer. This is my one
Yeah. Ooh,
100 times. But you think about it, like, oh no, I'm so happy I know how to do this stuff. And then
yeah.
it like somewhere along the line, like morphed into this like family, this like
Yeah.
250 person family every year that was like everyone was in it. Like everyone was like a piece of the puzzle that was camp for that
Yeah.
year. And like how that I don't know how that happens. That like just has to happen organically. But
I um I remember the first year, um, where on the last day of camp, we like didn't let Tom like ring the last bell. Cause I think they do that like every year now.
I think
But
it's
I
a thing.
remember like that first year that had to be like, oh my God, I think I was like an explorer or something.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it really does like feel like this family that
Hmm.
you just like that like you know you're gonna see again next year, but
Right.
like it just I don't know, just like not wanting it to end that year. But now like looking back, like it really does, like it just like sticks with you.
Hmm. That and like that in the middle of the in the off season, it's never the same.
Yeah.
Like it's even if you
Yeah.
see that it's not, there's that one thing missing. And it's funny because like all you do during those 30 days is like you talk about what happened at camp and like whatever, whatever
Yeah.
counselor competition or whatever like funny thing a kid did or a counselor did. And then it's like you turn it off. Like it
Yeah,
just
no,
like you
it's
can't get it.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, it is all consuming. It is like
Yeah.
and it's crazy, like you said, like 30 days. I'm like, I can't believe it's only 30 days. Like
Right?
it is a 1 month of days.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it is all consuming. Like you don't talk to anyone else.
Mm-mm. No. No, because you don't really want to, and even if you did, like, it's almost like you have nothing to talk about. You're like,
Right.
well, you wouldn't get
Yeah.
it, like
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
sing today, and they're like, what
Yeah.
sing?
Right, right, right.
Yeah, um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, I don't know the whole it went. I seem to recall when I was a camper, it was less of the like, we're all big family. Like
Mhm.
everyone, still loved it and everything, but it was less that. And then it just kind of kept building and building
Mhm.
to the point where like I remember before, like on the last day at Flag, when Tom was like, why doesn't everyone just sit down? We're gonna be here a while. And like
Yeah.
it was almost expected that every counselor would say something, a goodbye or whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember before that was a thing, like, and it wasn't like everyone giving their goodbyes. It was just like, oh, it's the last day of camp. Like, that's it. And, and it has just like grown. And
Yeah.
I wasn't there when you guys like wouldn't let him ring the bell, but I do recall me and the Katies being like, if they don't ring the bell, this thing goes on forever. So, but yeah, I think it's a like tradition now. It's like in the brochure that goes out in February. It's like the last bell or whatever.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So it's very cool.
What's Aiden's favorite activity?
Tie time,
Oh, is
which
that
is
theater?
no, it's called tie time. So they gave
Ty has his own
Ty
activity now.
Ty has his own activity.
What is it?
So
Do they still have theater?
they have theater.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
so what happened was because of the pandemic, they gave the who like would have been explorers in 2020, they let them come back for another year to like have a last year of camp.
Okay.
So in doing that, they needed to add another activity to the schedule just to kind of make it work out.
Okay.
So they gave Ty his own activity to do whatever he wanted,
wants.
like basically whatever he wanted. And it's like theater adjacent.
Right.
But yeah, it's just called Tie Time. It's on the schedule. And I talked to Ty.
That makes me so happy.
Isn't it great? And it's like the only person who could pull that off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And the kids loved it. So Aiden had Tie Time his first day ever of camp, and he was all in. I was like, did you have tie time today? He's like, yes, it was awesome. They did. So he made, I guess he made a wheel, like spin the wheel to see what we're going to do. So Aiden came home today or one day and he goes, he goes, I go, what did you do at tie time? And he goes, well, we played Shark Tank, but we almost got to pay Ty's taxes. It was like, it was perfect. It was so great. And like,
oh my God, that's so Ty.
Yeah, exactly. And before camp started, Ty was over here and he was telling me about tie time. And he was like, to his credit, he's like, there are some really great like assistants who like deserve a shot to have theater. And I was like, oh, that's so diplomatic of you. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, and you're just also doing theater too. He's like, well, yeah. So, so yeah, he loved tie time. Everything about Ty was like,
I bet everyone loves tie time.
yeah. I mean, I think Ty is just a staple now.
Yeah. I love that at some point, I don't even remember when the motto for camp became making memories, changing lives.
Okay. Were you there for that?
I think I was. And I think we were all just like,
I remember seeing it on the back of the shirt. It was like on the staff shirt one year. And I think my reaction was, what? Like, what is this? And yeah, now it's like the whole thing. And it says it on the totem pole when you walk in. It said like someone, it looks like a woodworking project. Someone's like making memories, changing lives.
That's so funny.
And like, while the sentiment is true, like could not be more accurate.
Right.
Yeah. Were you there when they changed the counselor competitions to like red, white, and blue, or instead of heads and assistants?
No, I think that was after me.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing about it and being like,
Nah.
there are just some lessons you have to learn in life. And learning how to get over the fact that it's really awkward to fit 20 people in a canoe.
Right.
Is one of them.
For example. Like that, like I have like a better appreciation for like all of this stuff. Gail must have been like, oh my God, no. Like any of these like competitions go wrong and that's it.
Or just like some like Tom's like insane commitment to some competitions. Like, do you remember the competition? Do you remember the competition where they had people get on other people's back and crawl around the circle like horse racing?
No.
And it did, everyone who did it had ripped up, it was like bleeding profusely from their knees. And Tom walks into the office and was like, so I think we're going to need knee pads next year. Like the answer wasn't like, this one didn't work.
Right. It works and we're going to make it better too. Well, he did. Oh man, there was one, it was like the food relay. And one year he added whipped cream to it. And it was like going to be the finale.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have the whipped cream canister and like a target. And the target was like, 6 or 7 feet away. Yeah. And so we get through the whole food competition, like passing these like bananas and apples and oranges back and forth. And then you get to the end, you're shaking up the canister of whipped cream and then you spray it and it just goes and like flows right down because it's whipped cream.
Right.
And like after it, like, they improvised some way to like end the competition. And Tom like swore up and down. He's like, I saw the whipped cream going this far. Like, he thought it was like, had like nitrous oxide attached to it to go like into Medway. And it was just like, it was the best Tom thing. He's like, well, we'll figure it out. Like,
and then they ended up just putting it on people's heads, like faces.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. That was the solution.
That's what I remember.
Right. Yeah. And Tom was also the best at filming videos. Like if you had a part for him to play.
Yes.
He was like in it and like knew exactly how to play it. Like if you were like, all right, Tom, you have to like, tell this kid, he's like getting kicked out of camp. He'd be like, got it. And he'd like go do it and then like add a little flair you'd be like, look, I don't want any trouble. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. And there was one video that comes to mind is when I was in video, we made the dirty camper and it was just a kid who we had him like covered in mud and he's like, oh, I'm so dirty. I don't remember what the plot was. There usually isn't a plot, so it doesn't matter. But we had Tom do a cameo and he just goes up to the kid. He's like, Matt, look at you. You're so dirty. You got to clean yourself up. It's just so serious and to the point where I'm like, Tom, let's be nice to the children. But it was awesome. He was always the best video cameo person. Anyway, that's our pod for today. Oh, it's an outro. You didn't know. That's our pod for today. Hey, camptimefcdc@gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know what you think and let me know when you want to talk. Have a good week. We'll see you soon.